It's that time of week, guys, where we play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the golden vendor and the weekly vendors to see are their items worth grabbing or the absolute trash. And this one is a special week you don't want to miss out. Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So we're playing Trash or Grab, looking at the vendor. To find a vendor, you can find her in Northern Hierarch Gate if you're on DC. If you're over on the AD Alliance, you can find her down at the Western Elsewhere Gate. And if you're on the Ebonheart Pat, she can be found in the Southern Morrowind Gate. Her stock does rotate week on week, and this is recorded on the 16th of August 2025, so if you are watching in the future, things will be different. For the vendor herself, she sells a range of stuff, and this week is very, very cool. She has way more items than usual, and you don't want to miss out. As with the series, if you like what I do here, then like, subscribe, all that stuff really helps out. And if you want to support the channel to get early access to videos, exclusives, there's details below. But this week she's selling Flame Blossom, a necklace. So this is a DLC necklace that you have to have the dungeon. And when you deal damage, you summon a line of fire after 1 second that does a good amount of burst. It's a gank set. It's a set that's designed to kill people from stealth really fast. Pretty good set. So if you're trying to kill people quickly, this is worth considering. The only caveat is that this is a melee set. You then have Hagraven's Garden set. When you take damage while under 50% of your health, you summon a ring around you. It gives people major protection. It reduces the damage taken. Is this a good set? It's a bit mid. I wouldn't rush to get this. We then have Habjeem's set. When you're within 28 meters of an enemy who dies, you get Major Berserk. Is this particularly good? The answer is no. I wouldn't use this in PvP or PvE, so just don't really use this. We have Mad Tinkerer. When you deal damage, you summon a Feminist Fabricant that charges and does some damage. It stuns people, it knocks them in the air. It's pretty cool, but it does miss a lot. It's kind of a very fun thematic set. Is it the most effective in PvP? The answer is no. Is it effective in PvE? No, but it's fun and you may want it for that reason. The set is from the base game, so you don't need to have a DLC to get this. I wouldn't rush personally. We then have Night Terror. When you take melee damage, you deal 1500 poison damage to the attacker. It scales off your higher weapon and spell damage, and it basically just reflects damage. If you're on a reflect build, it's kind of cool. Is it the best damage set in the game? No, there are better sets. Plague Slinger, for example, is a better version of this, so I wouldn't rush to get this. We then have Shadow Dancer. After leaving Sneak or Invisibility, you dodge all incoming attacks for 1 second. It has an 8-second cooldown. This isn't really worth using, there's better 5p sets. We then have Tormentor. When you deal direct damage with a Blink, Charge, Leap, Teleport or Pull ability, you gain physical and spell resist, and you taunt the first enemy hit to attack you for 15 seconds and heal for 46% of the damage done. What does this actually mean? This is a PvE set and it's used mainly on werewolves. So if you want to be a werewolf tank in PvE, this is fantastic. It kind of makes that playstyle viable in all honesty, so you can use this. Is it essential for werewolf? No, but it makes a werewolf tank more possible. We then have our new set. After completing a fully charged heavy attack, you get Major Mending, increasing your healing. The duration is increased with the Restoration Staff passives. The increased healing isn't really worth it in PvE, and you can just chuck out heavies in PvE quite freely. PvP wise, yes, you might use a Restoration Staff, but you can get this passive anyway from other skills, a Warden especially, so I wouldn't rush to buy this. We then come to some monster sets, which are fantastic. These are, if you're going to go, is this the week to not miss? This is the week. Anthemil's Construct, this thing is fantastic. When you do a fully charged heavy attack, you launch an axe at the target that reduces their armor by about 1700, and it does about 8-9k tooltip. This does about 5k in PvP to a player. I use it on my snipe builds. If you want to have a sniper that is the best sniper in the game, check out the videos on the channel. They are disgustingly broken. They burst about 30k health with 30k resist, so it's consistently hard hitting, and we use this set. So if you haven't got this, buy it. It is a very good set. We then have the second set, which is Orzine's the Inferno. When you overheal yourself or an ally, you grant them armor for 1.1 seconds, and it's 4.2k. Healing yourself when ally grants a minor vitality, increases the healing too. So overall, it basically just gives them extra armor over that full health, and You also give them Minor Vitality to help keep them over full health. This is a healer set. It can be pretty good in PvE. It can be okay in PvP. You use this mainly in PvP if you're going to use it. But PvE wise, you may want to use it as an off healer to help DPS, like newer progression groups, that kind of stuff. Is it going to help DPS? No, but it's more kind of helping people learn mechanics. That's where this may be more useful. So it does have some use, as I said, mainly for PvE, like progression groups, because you can give those damage dealers a bit more armor. But PvP wise, this has more of a use here because armor is very important there. So, you know, it's worth considering. This is also a DLC set. So whenever it's a DLC set, I always recommend buying, you know, one of each if you don't have it. Just saves you having to farm. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We then have another set which is just fantastic, like Roseka the Warped. This is stupidly good. When you're in combat, you get recovery each second up to 30 stacks, about 240 total, and it gives you magic and stam recovery. It always gives you health recovery. This is like Magma Incarnate with health recovery attached and a bit extra. The only caveat is that you do have to be in combat more than if you say had one Baron Thrisk and one Magma Incarnate. The actual number of seconds is 24 seconds. So if you're in combat for more than 24 seconds, Roseka is by far better. So if you're playing on like a traditional build, this is better than one Magma, one Baron Thrisk. If you're on a gank build, in and out assassin, go the other route. But this is really, really worth getting. So I'm going to buy this again because this is fantastic. Really, really good set. We then come to another helmet. This is the blind set. So when you're healing critically strikes, the targets gain a damage shield for 1400, and while the damage shield holds, they get minor force. It's pretty bad. Don't use this basically. It's a DLC set. If you don't have it, you know, you may want to get it. We then have the jewelry, all of the same jewelry, and the helmets are exact. The shoulders are all the same as well. So if you haven't got the full monster set for contract, buy it now. I'm doing this because it's very, very, very good. I'm very happy with this. So I have that one. So I'll buy that one. And then I have a lot of these already. And I have a lot of those already. These ones I'm going to buy just for some sticker book stuff. I will probably come back and grab these later. But the gold in this week, as you can see, is like fantastic. This is by far the best week I have seen in a very, very long time. As with the like weekly vendor stuff, we also check out the Scholarum, Infinite Archive, those other things, just so you get a good idea of what there is. And there's always some pretty good stuff in there, so don't miss out. As always, if you like this series and you want to stay up to date with it, then, you know, likes and comments really help. And make sure you do hit that subscribe. You know, there's most people who are watching are subscribed, but don't be that one person that isn't. Once you get to the Infinite Archive, we are going to go as far east as we can, looking for a vendor called Filer All. This vendor will sell a range of things, namely leads that we come here looking for, and they will also sell some scripts. The vendor does use his own currency, so you do have to engage with this system. It's pretty cool. This week they had the following. You got a music box league, and you got a lead for the talk. Talk of tonal constancy gives you more recovery. When you are low on your primary resource, you get your off resource, and vice versa. Is it a good mythic? No. So just skip this. Script wise, we have the following. We've got evasion, magicka skill, generate ultimate, and Anchorette's cruelty. All of these are pretty mid. I wouldn't rush to buy any of these, to be honest, so I would skip these. We're now going to hop on over to the Scholarum. This is an Evaya. If you haven't got this already, you can get access to this right now if you go into the Crown store and look at the quest starters and the upgrades. You can buy it for free. It costs you absolutely nothing. Don't miss out. It's definitely worth grabbing. Once you get to the Scholarum, you want to go and push as far up as you can and go to the east wing. If you haven't done the Indrik Mount already, so this one up here, if you haven't done this Indrik wing, you will not be able to access this vendor. So if you go, I really want these scripts, you do need to do that at least once on one character. Once you've done that, Fernando will appear. He will sell all of these grimoires always and some scripts. I know all these scripts already, so I can't buy them, but he has Empower, Trauma, and Thief Swiftness. Empower can be useful for some PvE builds, especially if you don't have access to Oakensall or you don't have your Mage's Guild leveled up. So it's a good stopgap if you're playing a heavy attack build. That's about it. Trauma isn't really useful. It's kind of a very niche thing. The problem is the healing debuff is actually halved already, so it's not that useful. And the Thief Swiftness, again, it's not too good. You know, it's a very niche skill, so I wouldn't get any of these. My only recommendation would be, if you have some spare gold, buy 2 or 3, chuck them in the bank. I did this earlier, that's why I got 4. I wouldn't buy like loads. You know, if you've got a bit of gold lying around, buy it. It may be useful in a couple of months, maybe a year or 2 if they add some skills, but yeah. And then the final place we check is we hop on over to the Imperial City, and we then check the Talvar vendor to see are there any good leads worth grabbing. The Talvar vendor is very expensive, but they can sell leads for some of the really hardest mythics to get in the game, and it's always worth a check. To find the vendor, you have to go to the Fire and Anvil. You're then going to move around and looking for the vendor. Their name will say Talvar vendor. They will be different on each alliance, so just bear that in mind. If you're in DC like I am, we're looking for Kaskula. She sells a range of different stuff. So this week she's got the armor. This armor is always for sale, so my advice is never buy the armor because you can buy it from players cheaper. But we look at the leads. She has Malekith's Band of Brutality. This is pretty decent. It's not like the best mythic in all honesty, but it's really worth considering. And it's kind of like a fun one. We then have access to what is a tanking set, Spalder of Ruin. Spalder of Ruin is a pretty cool one. When you have this on and you sneak, you put a damage buff around for other players, but you do lose a bit of sustain. Is it like the best mythic? Not unless you're a tank. If you're a tank, it's pretty decent. Now this can drop from any Dremora type enemy in the entire game. So I personally, I'll probably just farm this myself, but if you really want to save some time, you could buy it. It's not a bad one to buy. We then have some scripts for a fix for the Prophecy. So you've got Forestanding, Savagery and Prophecy, and an Anchor Potency and Flame Damage. All of these, in my opinion, are not worth the Talvar. Talvar is quite hard to get hold of for some people, and I'd rather you save it for when there's a few good leads that might save you a lot of hours. This one, the Void Alloy, can save you a little bit of time. It's not too hard to get, but it does take a little while. So, you know, it's not the worst one to get. It's just, yeah. So, like my thing was, I got this quite easily, but I know some people take days to get this, so buy it if you really, really need it. But yeah, I'm going to sort of wrap up here, really. If you get any questions about builds, guides, stuff, let me know in the comments. And as always, I want to say a massive thank you to all the YouTube and Patreon members who do support the channel. If you want to stay up to date with the channel and stuff, do subscribe. And if you want to support, there's details down below. You get access to videos early, exclusive builds and guides, and much, much more. I'll catch you next video or stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And bye.